Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse.
Hey there, lunatics. So, I've been getting some comments recently with people asking me to make a Desert Guardian armor set, and I was actually surprised at first, thinking, haven't I already done this? And apparently I haven't. So, I got to work, and I put together this build for the Desert Guardian set. When I started to test it to make sure that it was actually a viable build and it didn't need any tweaking, I discovered something about the Desert Guardian set that I was not a big fan of. The 3-piece set bonus for the Desert Guardian set says, when your minions despawn, they explode for 500% of their attack damage. And so I thought, well, that's cool. That's a fun ability, but it's only a cool and fun ability if you can control it. And you can't control it. You used to be able to control it because once you reach your maximum limit of the number of minions that you can have, if you summon another minion, it would despawn the oldest minion that you currently have. And when doing so, that minion would explode. This made the Desert Guardian set really cool because you could summon, 6, 7, 8 minions, however many you've got, preferably the melee minions, such as the Tome of Ashes or the Tome of the Dead. And then while they're all surrounded and focused on a target, you start summoning more minions, and the old ones blow up, doing tons of extra damage. And this happens one minion at a time, giving you control over when and where and how many minions you detonate and resummon. All of that is gone. Now, when you try to resummon minions, the old one just disappears. It doesn't explode like it used to. They now only explode and actually detonate when they naturally reach the end of their life and die as a result of that. So for this build to truly be a viable working build, you need minions with the shortest amount of lifespan time possible. And frankly, if you do that, you're never going to get your maximum amount of minions out anyway, because this build does not have a lot of mana. And there's really not a good way to give it a lot of mana and still make it viable with the amount of minions that you need and need to be able to detonate. So the question becomes, is this a build that is worth putting together? And right now, for me, the answer is no. There is not a viable, decent build that includes the Desert Guardian set. Now, if you've got one, I highly recommend putting something in the comments, but during all of my testing, this build was low on damage, it was low on general versatility, it was really bad when it came to general survivability. I just did not find a way to make this build worthwhile, which is really disappointing considering that this is all that Nimruza drops. So once you've beaten Nimruza once for the achievement, there's really no reason to go back and fight that boss again, because this is all that you're gonna get from that boss. And if the set isn't good and the set isn't viable, then what's the point? Personally, I would like to see this set get a bit of a revamp so that when you do summon new minions, and it detonates the old one actually does detonate. Or give the set an activatable ability similar to the minion detonator that only kills one minion at a time, not all of them. The minion detonator, which is an offhand item, will also detonate your minions and you have control of it by hitting spacebar, but it detonates every minion. And the bonus of its detonation doesn't stack with the bonus of the detonation from the Desert Guardian set. So either make them stack or give us another activatable ability for this that works one minion at a time and makes this set much more viable. Either that or completely remove the detonation ability that this set has and replace it with something else that's more interesting. Some possibilities for alternative abilities could be that there's a chance on minion hit that the Desert Guardian set will spawn an extra mummy or two that don't count toward your minion cap. that are only around for maybe 30 seconds or so, but they do a whole bunch of extra damage. Or maybe some other summoned creature. Or if you want to stick with the explosion theme, you could have it where it's a chance on minion hit that the minion will detonate and doing 500% damage, and then you just have to summon a new minion to keep your count up, but the detonation occurs, randomly or automatically based on the minion's attack. Whatever it is, something really needs to be done to make this Desert Guardian set viable, because it's endgame armor that has absolutely no real purpose. It cannot defeat any of the bosses, especially on hard mode. Like, yeah, you can use it to defeat some of the early bosses, but I never managed to beat the core commander with this build. I tried over and over again, and I kept losing. I couldn't beat Nimruza, I couldn't beat Igneous, I couldn't beat any of the endgame bosses with this build. So this build is either only viable for exploring around, which it does work for because general minion damage is enough, but if that's the case, wear the Grim Suit instead. Because the only real advantage of the Desert Guardian set is the detonation ability, and that ability is worthless. So I recommend a completely different set of armor unless the devs ultimately end up doing something else. And that's really why I don't have a build video for this yet. I hope to make a build video someday that actually is decent and can take on the bosses, but that really depends on what the devs choose to do with this set. If they leave it alone, then my big recommendation for it is pretend it doesn't exist. So be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. I know it's not exactly the best news. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Let me know, do you use this set? And if so, how do you use it? How do you find it viable? Have you managed to kill any of the bosses, especially on hard mode? I do all of my gameplay on hard mode, and right now it's just not worth it for me. Maybe on standard, maybe on casual, this build has some viability, but definitely not in hard mode. So let me know what you think as well, because if you have some ideas for alternative things that this set could do, leave a comment. The devs do watch my videos and they do periodically check out my comments too. So, let your voice be heard on what you think the Desert Guardian set should look like. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay crazy, everybody.